Have you ever watched Jurassic Park and thought, could that actually happen? Could we really bring dinosaurs back from extinction? It's a question that has captivated scientists and the public for decades. Today, we're diving deep into the science of de-extinction to separate the Hollywood fantasy from the mind-blowing reality. So, grab your popcorn, because we're about to explore whether we could one day walk with dinosaurs again. First, let's tackle the biggest hurdle: DNA. To clone any animal, you need its complete genetic blueprint, its genome. The problem is, DNA is a fragile molecule. Over time, it breaks down. Scientists estimate that DNA has a half-life of about 521 years. This means that every 521 years, half of the chemical bonds in a DNA sample fall apart. After 1 million years, it's virtually unreadable, and after 6.8 million years, every single bond would be gone. The last dinosaurs died out 66 million years ago. So, unfortunately, finding a mosquito perfectly preserved in amber with a belly full of dinosaur blood, like in the movie, just isn't going to give us viable DNA. The genetic material would be far too degraded to use. So, case closed? No dinosaurs? Well, not so fast. Science has some other tricks up its sleeve. If we can't find pristine dinosaur DNA, what's the next best thing? Their closest living relatives: birds. That's right. The pigeon on your windowsill and the chicken in your backyard are modern-day dinosaurs. They are direct descendants of a group of theropod dinosaurs, which includes the mighty T-Rex. Their DNA holds the genetic echoes of their ancient ancestors. This is where a fascinating field called reverse evolution comes into play. The idea isn't to create a dinosaur from scratch, but to awaken the dormant dino traits hidden within a bird's genome. Think of it like finding old, unused code in a computer program. Scientists like Jack Horner, who was the paleontological advisor for the Jurassic Park films, are working on this very concept. They call it the Chickenosaurus Project. The plan is to genetically modify a chicken embryo to express ancestral traits. For example, birds have beaks, but their dinosaur ancestors had snouts with teeth. By identifying and manipulating the genes responsible for beak formation, scientists believe they could revert it back to a more reptilian, dinosaur-like snout. They'd have already had some success in identifying the genes that fuse bird vertebrae into a short tail, and they believe they can tweak them to grow a long, bony tail instead. Similarly, they're looking at the genes that replaced hands with claws into wings. The goal is to flip these genetic switches, one by one, to essentially de-evolve a chicken back into something that looks a lot like a small dinosaur. It sounds like science fiction, but the progress is real. Researchers have already managed to grow chicken embryos with snouts instead of beaks, and have identified key genetic pathways for other traits. However, creating a complete Chickenosaurus is still a massive challenge. We're talking about tinkering with thousands of genes, and we don't fully understand how they all interact. It's a complex biological puzzle that will likely take many more years, if not decades, to solve. And even if we succeed, what would we have? It wouldn't be a true velociraptor, but a genetically modified chicken that resembles one. A dino chicken, if you will. But let's say, for the sake of argument, we do it. We manage to create a living, breathing creature that looks and acts like a dinosaur. This opens up a whole new can of worms. The ethical questions. Just because we can, does it mean we should? What kind of world would we be bringing these animals into? The environment today is drastically different from the Mesozoic era. The atmosphere has less oxygen, the climate is different, and the plant life has completely changed. Could they even survive here? Would they carry ancient diseases we have no immunity to? Or would they be vulnerable to modern pathogens? Then there's the moral argument. Is it right to create an animal purely for human curiosity or entertainment? These would be living creatures, not theme park attractions. They would have needs, behaviors, and instincts that we can only guess at. Creating them would come with a profound responsibility to ensure their welfare, a responsibility we might not be prepared for. As Dr. Ian Malcolm famously warned in Jurassic Park, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. This is the core ethical dilemma of de-extinction. While bringing back a T-Rex remains firmly in the realm of fantasy for now, the science of de-extinction is very real and being applied to more recently extinct species. Scientists are working on projects to bring back animals like the woolly mammoth, the passenger pigeon, and the Tasmanian tiger. For these animals, we have much better DNA samples, and their recent extinction means the modern environment is a much better fit. The techniques being developed for these projects are the very same ones that fuel the dinosaur debate. For example, the woolly mammoth project involves editing the DNA of its closest living relative, the Asian elephant, to include mammoth traits like a shaggy coat, more body fat, and smaller ears for cold climates. The goal isn't just to bring back a single animal, but to potentially restore entire ecosystems. Reintroducing mammoths to the Siberian tundra could help restore the ancient grasslands, which would be more effective at sequestering carbon than the current mossy landscape. So, where does this leave us on our dinosaur quest? The direct cloning of a dinosaur from ancient DNA is, with our current understanding, impossible. The DNA is simply gone forever. However, the path of reverse evolving a bird is a scientifically plausible, though incredibly difficult, alternative. It wouldn't be a true dinosaur, but a modern creation designed to look like one. The science is fascinating and pushes the boundaries of what we thought was possible in genetic engineering. It's forcing us to ask profound questions about our role in the natural world and our power to manipulate life itself. Perhaps the biggest takeaway from the dream of de-extinction isn't about whether we can bring back dinosaurs, but what it teaches us about the life that's here right now. The incredible complexity of DNA and the fragility of ecosystems should give us a deeper appreciation for the biodiversity we have. De-extinction is a powerful tool, but conservation is even more critical. Preventing extinction in the first place is far easier, safer, and more ethical than trying to reverse it later. The story of the dinosaurs is a spectacular tale of life, death, and time on a planetary scale. While we may never see a real T-Rex, the quest to understand them continues to drive science forward in incredible ways. So, what do you think? Should we pursue the creation of a Chickenosaurus? Or are some doors better left unopened? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on this fascinating topic. Thanks so much for watching and exploring this prehistoric puzzle with me. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive into more amazing science topics, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.